Yeah. So welcome everyone. We are doing series this month for our pets, especially cats. But today we have cats and dogs, and it's basically about grooming because currently we were seeing some incidents coming in, and also there is Holi. So we would like to know about some good colors that could be used, or maybe how does highlights work on our dog. So some of those funky things to discuss on. With us, we also have Vinda. She is basically the co-host with me. She runs a beautiful company called Curious Cat Company, where everything about cat and catty stuffs are available, even for cat parents. They have some amazing t-shirts and bowls and mugs. Also, they are running a very good fundraising together, POP and CCC. And all the money that would be collected for fundraising will be going to CUPA for community cat sterilizations. So yeah, Vinda, I will
A part of the funds, not all. Otherwise, we cannot
part
sustain.
of the funds are going. Sorry. And we have with us Andrea, whom I know for quite some time, and she's an inspiration. She has been growing the grooming segment in the pet space really brilliantly. I've been following her so closely. And she also recently got the award of Nation's Top Groomer and Mentor. Yeah, she runs for
Wow.
men.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
She's
you.
the
Thank you.
glamour world person. uh, with the pun, she actually comes from the glamour world. She was into modeling and she was into acting, and then she took up her career into pet grooming. So a little about that, Andrea, if you could tell, and then of
Well,
course, Vinda.
that was many, many moons ago. So I've been in the pet industry for like 16 years now. Like I've been a groomer for 16 years now. So that was a small phase of my life where I earned some money and then I started Petsburg. So yeah, all that money that I got there, I put it in here and started my business because this is where my heart was. So, all the glitz and glamour in the world cannot take us away from our fur buddies. So, it's just always better. They're always better than humans.
Wow, I had to capture that. Right. So jumping into some, Vinda, would you like to introduce CCC?
Okay, so Curious Cat Company is a store for cat people. So it's got everything for cats as well as the people who love and coexist with cats. No one owns cats. We partner with a lot of artists and local artisans to make the products that we do. We try and make them as sustainable as possible, and we try and make them locally, and only products that are genuinely useful for cats, as opposed to selling stuff that is commercial. And something that I personally would use is what I sell. So we're doing a fundraiser. I've put the link in the chat. Part of the proceeds will go to CUPA, which is a 32-year-old NGO based in Bangalore, and they do subsidized cat sterilizations. They run one of India's largest community cat sterilization programs. So a part of the fundraising will go to CUPA. And we have this going on all through the month till the end of March. So that's it. That's Curious Cat, and I'm glad to be doing this with PopX. Let's dive right into the questions with Andrea. So we've had the reason we primarily wanted to do this was to talk about the recent cases that have been coming up, especially with cats, because there's such little awareness about cat grooming. A lot of stuff is known about dog grooming. And there was this recent case where a cat did not survive a grooming session, which is such an extreme thing. Yeah. And no one has ever heard of that happening. Why would something like that happen? What are the precautions to take to prevent this from happening?
Okay, so this is all hearsay of this particular incident. Okay, what I heard was that the cat was, already panting, already showing signs of major distress, and was bleeding from its nose, right? So as a pet caregiver, right, when that cat was getting really stressed out, that's when the person should have stopped, but they didn't. So now you could either put this down to maybe the cat has because it wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first timer, right? This cat had been to this particular grooming center previously as well, and apparently the pet owner was sitting there inside the room as well. Okay. So yes, cats need a little more understanding and a little more, there is very little information available, on cat behavior, on cat body language. And if that cat was with me and it was showing me signs of stress, I would stop the grooming immediately, and I would let that cat like chill out and, just get back. If the cat does not feel good, in like 15, 20 minutes, I tell the owner, you know what? This cat is really not doing well right now. Just let him, calm down. Because cats do get stressed really easily. They're actually similar to birds, I would say, because they go into shock pretty easily as well. And the slightest, like difference in their routine can upset them, right? So if we are grooming cats, we are aware of these things, right? When a cat is panting, it does show you stress. It does mean that the cat is stressed, right? So if the cat is stressed, the very, very simple thing to do is to stop what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, right? If the cat, suppose it is in the bath, right, and it's getting stressed, if there is soap on the cat, you'll quickly rinse off the soap and get it out of the bath, right? Wrap it in a towel, let it go back into its crate or, whatever it's coming, wherever it's feeling safe till it calms down. Then if it allows you, you dry it. If it doesn't allow you, actually, we don't even dry it because you don't want to stress out the animal, right? The whole objective is that we are trying to groom these animals for their health and hygiene, right? So if they're going to get like so upset about it, then you shouldn't do it at that time.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, and this is an education issue, right?
So how often would you recommend? And there is a difference between indie cats or short-haired cats versus long-haired cats. What is the ideal grooming routine and frequency for both these types of cat breeds or
So
cat
normally,
varieties?
what we recommend for a short-haired cat is about a bath once a month, okay, or once in 6 weeks, because contrary to popular belief, they do need a bath, okay? And contrary to popular belief, cats do not groom themselves. Cats lick themselves, thus spreading saliva all over their body. So it is far from cleaning themselves, right? So they'll first lick in all of the X-rated areas that they, love to lick. And then they'll be licking their entire body, right? And then they'll go into their litter tray and then they'll be licking their paws, right? So that saliva actually causes allergies in cats as well as in humans. So this deposit of saliva on top of the cat's hair is what causes allergies. It's not the hair itself. Okay. So when a cat is bathed regularly, right, you actually remove all of that. Okay. Also, all the loose hair that's going in and causing, digestive problems, that's also, you're getting rid of all of that as well. So it's healthy for the cat. It's healthy for the, person taking care of the cat. So yeah, I would recommend for a short-haired cat about, maybe 1 month, 2 months at most. I wouldn't say go beyond that because that cat needs to have a bath, especially if it's inside your home and, it's kind of getting everything at home and it's not really a community cat or anything. Community cats are a little bit different because, their priority is not getting groomed. You know what I mean? Like they're not going to come and they don't have to like rub themselves against you. Some of them are shy. Some of them are very friendly, right? But they kind of get their thing going out in the environment. When they're inside your home, they do need to have a bath. Ideally, even the community cats should be having a bath, ideally. But yes, we know that they'll be like, excuse me, bye-bye, no bath for me. And they will like gone, and you won't see them for 3 days. So community cats, maybe not. If possible, yes. But house cats, for sure. Whether they're Indies, whether they are Persians, whether they are, British short hair or exotics or whatever, or even your Siamese or, your hairless cats. Even those
you would
require
recommend
baths.
the same frequency for a hairless cat as well?
Yes, definitely. Because again, the what you're washing is not the hair per se. You're washing off that saliva from the cat's body. right? That saliva is actually causing problems to you and your cat, right? So because they're licking urine and they walk all over the place and they'll be licking their paws, right? And all of this is going inside their body and getting deposited on their skin. So actually it's a protein, it's called FeLD1. Okay, it's a protein that gets deposited on their body, regardless of whether it has long hair, short hair, or no hair. It doesn't really matter. You still need to bathe the cat for the cat's health and for yours. Yeah.
Okay. And then what would you recommend as some at-home grooming basics that someone could follow, whether or not they come to a professional grooming place? What are 5 things or 3 things that you think everyone should be doing at home?
Well, with your hairless cats, you cannot you cannot brush them, right? But you can use like a soft velvet cloth. I don't know how many people in India have hairless cats though, but I'm still, gonna tell you about it. But you can have, those little velvet gloves that you get, and you can wipe them with that. Okay. So that helps remove a lot of the dander and a lot of the dried saliva. So it will help maintain and maybe, increase the time between the baths. Okay. So that's for a hairless cat. For a short-haired cat, you would still need to you could use something called a furminator, or, a comb or a soft brush, a metal brush like a slicker brush. And you could brush. I myself have an indie cat and I brush her with my slicker. First of all, she loves it. She loves it, she'll put her bum up and her tail is all over me. And then, she'll be meowing and purring and going ulta and pulta. So she loves it, right? Plus, I remove a lot of that dead hair, a lot of that dander, a lot of this stuff that's going to be going into her belly. And it's going to be affecting her, her whole
system. And is this daily? This is something you do daily?
I don't do it daily because I'm a lazy owner, but you can do it daily. But yes, you can do it daily. I would recommend at least once or twice a week, because the cats enjoy it. Whether it's a long hair, short hair, or a hairless, they enjoy it as well, Grooming doesn't have to be a stressful experience. You don't have to pin down your cat and say, no, now I'm going to like brush you and you hold here and scruff it. And you don't need to do all that. I actually hold my slicker brush up and my cat comes and rubs against it, and I'm like, okay, fine, you brush yourself, So they enjoy it. So there's really nothing stopping a pet parent or a cat parent from grooming their cats at home.
And at what age would you recommend should one start grooming their kitten to get them used to this and like the process of brushing?
Young. I would definitely say young, at least about 3 months old, right? Once they've had their vaccinations and things like that, and they're ready to sort of get out into the world a little bit, I would recommend getting them groomed early on, because then, when they're 1 or 2 or 3 years old, the first time you're going to take them to a groomer, they're going to be like, what is going on? Why am I being punished? Right? If they go from an early age, right, and they go to the right groomer who makes the experience, very, very calm and very loving and very gentle, then they're like, oh, this is good. This is fun, And again, contrary to popular belief, cats actually don't hate water. They don't, So it's the same as dogs, right? Some may not like water that much, but some are absolutely fine with it. In fact, when I am bathing a cat and you put that really nice warm water on their body, they start purring.
I think it's about the temperature in that case.
It's about the temperature. Absolutely. You would not bathe your cat with like ice cold water.
Cold water. Yeah. Neither would we do that to us.
Exactly. Right. For us as well. Even with babies, right? You put them in a cold bath and they'll be like, wah! You put them in a nice warm bath and they'll be like, giving all those weird
Sound
looks.
very similar. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like babies. Yeah. Pets are like babies. Just treat them so.
And what do you...
To that, would you also give the same answer for the dogs in terms of how many times are they to be given bath?
So dogs are a little more often, because cats still keep themselves slightly cleaner. I'll give you an example. I have a poodle. I actually bathe him twice a week, which I don't recommend to everybody, but I bathe him twice a week because he gets really dirty. And, when we go down into my building, and of course we have community cats that come in and, they'll poop and there's nobody cleaning the poop because, right, there's nobody running around behind them. And our friend will find this poop and roll himself in it. He's like, ooh, cat poop. That's some nice fresh perfume right there. So he loves doing that. So for dogs, I recommend about a week, 10 days, for your long haired dogs, and for your shorter haired dogs, maybe 2 weeks or maximum a month, once a month. I wouldn't recommend dogs to go very much longer than that, because they do get dirtier and they do have a habit of rolling in, uh, stuff that they shouldn't be rolling in. So yeah.
I like how that was said.
Yeah, I wanted
Coming
to
from
be
there, it's
PG-13.
the same for any hair length, right? Like double fur, like GSDs, golden retrievers, them
Same,
also
same,
once a
same.
month is like minimum.
Same, minimum once a month. I would recommend that. Yeah. Even if you're not taking the dog or cat to a groomer, every time, and you're able to do it at home, by all means, do it at home. But once in a while, it is good to take your pet to a professional, because along with that, just that bath and dry and stuff, the nails are in check, right? The ears are going to be in check. The paw pads are going to be cleaned, right? Yeah, they're going to check for ticks, fleas, any kind of parasites. They're going to check for infections. They're going to check for lumps and bumps. These kind of things, as a pet parent, you don't really notice.
Yeah, we
Because
miss.
you miss it. It's easy to miss. And then when you do notice it, it's kind of out of hand. We have had many instances where we notice like a little lump, on a pet. And then the pet will come back a few weeks later, and then, we'll notice, okay, the lump has grown or whatever. And we inform the parent, right? And that gives the parent that much more time to nip it in the bud, right? To not let it go to a point where you have to go through major surgery, or anything like really major and really stressful for everybody. It's not just the pet, right? The pet, of course, is going through pain and all that, but the pet owner feels like really, really bad, right? Because you're like, oh my God, my baby is going through so much, and it's a very stressful situation for everybody, right? So better than saying that, oh, I'll only do this myself, and I will only groom my pet myself, and I will not let anybody else touch my pet, which is fine. But then in that case, go to your trusted groomer and ask them to teach you the basics of grooming, right? So at least they'll be able, when they teach you, then at least you're doing it right. Don't just go, hawa mein tir maro types, and and then you're like, and then something goes wrong, and you're like, oh my God. During COVID, a lot of pet parents had to groom their own pets, right? Because everything was shut. So I had so many calls with pet parents calling me because they were trying to cut their dog's nails, and they overcut it and it was bleeding. And they're like, "Oh my God, Andrea, what do we do? What do we do?" And so of course, as an experienced groomer, I know what to do. But what I recommend is that if you intend on doing this anytime with your pets, then just go and learn. Go to a trusted person, they will teach you. They may charge you a little bit of money, but I mean, what is a little bit of money over, the safety of your pet,
Right.
and the
Yeah,
and your own sanity, right?
I could go and learn, actually. That's a very good point. I would like to tell people to go and invest into that rather than not doing it. But you actually picked up a very important point for cats and for dogs. Now that we've been doing so many webinars, especially the nail cutting,
Mm-hmm.
is how do you suggest they start it off if they have to? And two, are there any equipments that you suggest for them, or like something which is less uh,
So see, animal nail clippers are available. Okay. If you are cutting your pet's nails, the instrument needs to be sharp. Okay. A lot of the instruments that we get in the market today are not sharp enough, right? So it's like if I take a blunt nail cutter and I try cutting my own nail, right? It's gonna pinch my nail, and it's gonna be more uncomfortable for me, right? So because it's pinching my nail, that is why it's uncomfortable. It's not because you're cutting the nail. The nail actually has no feeling in it, right? But when I'm here and I'm pinching, right? Or if I hold my nail like this and I'm going to, like even the dead part, right? If I'm going to take it and squeeze it, it's going to hurt, right?
right, right.
So the reason the dogs and the cats are very iffy about nails is because the instruments are not sharp enough. So you need to get sharp instruments. Make sure that the instruments are sharp, right? You can try them. You can try out the instrument by just taking like a little piece of maybe a earbud, or a patla sa wooden dandi or something, and try cutting. If you see a pinch mark, that means the instrument is not sharp. If you see a clean cut, that means the instrument is sharp. Okay, so that's for your nail cutter. Okay, now you have for cats, I don't recommend a nail grinder, you know, the filer, the electronic filer. I don't recommend that for cats because first of all, cats' nails should not be cut too far back, right? Because they need to hold on to stuff and climb and things like that. So if their nails are cut too far back, then they kind of don't have enough grip. And there have been incidents of cats not, like, you know, jumping onto something after a grooming session, losing their grip and falling and getting hurt. Because, you know, they had nails and they haven't realized that the nails have been cut, right? So they don't have enough nail to grip onto something. So what we normally do is for cats, we just take off the tips. That's it. We don't even go till the pink part. You know, just that really needle sharp part, that's the part that we clip. So even if the cat jumps onto something and like clings onto it, they'll still have some grip. Even if it's not like 100% good grip, they'll have enough grip to, you know, sort of soften the fall.
So then
That kind of
question
thing.
there, one, if you're just taking off the tips, they're going to grow back really fast, right? Like perhaps 10 days or less than that. And secondly, if it is actually not in the favor or interest of the cat to cut their nails because it doesn't allow them that grip, is it necessary to do it? Why should we do it?
Okay. The reason you should do it is because those nails are extremely sharp, right? So just a teeny tiny, you know, a poke into your skin can rip your skin. Okay, so it's mostly for us. Because when they play and stuff like that, they don't realize, right? And they'll grip onto you, right? And then they can puncture your skin. And then you pull away and then there's this big, huge cut on you, right? So if it is slightly blunt, yeah. every cat person will show me tattoos, cat tattoos.
I think I'm pretty proud about it.
Yeah. So if the nails are not very, very sharp, they won't pierce into the skin as easily, right? So you can just take off that. I mean, I'm sure you're a cat person, Vrinda. You know, I'm sure you know how sharp they can get. And also they love to, like, you know, do that. They'll dig in something and then they'll pull and then they'll dig in and then they'll pull and then they'll dig in and then they'll pull, right? So cats actually, their nails grow in layers.
Yeah.
Okay. You would notice at some point that there'll be like a whole sort of a layer of nail lying around somewhere in your house. So that is how they sharpen their nail, by removing one layer at a time, one layer at a time, one layer at a time. So when they've removed a nice good amount of layers, then the nail will get really, really sharp, right? Then you just remove that little tip and you're good to go, right?
But then this needs to be done so often.
Yeah, so you
like
can
a
do
week,
it.
once a week.
It's actually, cutting cat's nails are easier than cutting dog's nails. So you'll get the scissor kind of nail cutters, you know, not the plier kinds, right? The scissor kind, which is easy to hold also. And mostly those are sharp, right? And since you only have to cut like a little tip off, it's not really too much of this thing. And cats have retractable nails, right? So you need to sort of, so if this is the nail, you'll like sort of press the finger open like that, this thing open, and the nail will come out. And then you just cut the little tip and you're done. You're sorted. With dogs, they'll be like that, you know. With cats, they'll be like in that position, you know. So if you hold them nicely and if they trust you, they'll let you do it. If they don't trust you, then they'll probably give you one patka and they'll be like, chal bhag yahan se. You know, so
that's what's been happening.
Linda, no wonder we can't cut the cat nails.
Yeah, I need to win my cat's trust a little bit.
Yes, exactly. And you know what I recommend, right? If you have not been doing it for your cats, on a serious note, don't do all the nails together. Do 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, you know, over a few days. Get them to you when they're feeling all nice and lovey-dovey, hold their paw, just cut off 1 or 2 nails, how many ever they allow. If they don't allow, leave it. And treat them like a dog, right? Give them treats. They like it. And especially, you know, the paste, they love that. So that's how I trained my cat. You know, I give her the paste. I'm like, you get paste, you let me cut your nail, you let me give you a bath, you get paste. So then she's happy doing it, you know. So she's not as upset.
So one thing I've noticed, now moving away from nails, because this is something I've been dying to ask. I've noticed, so I have 2 cats with me right now. One is a white ginger combination and one is a tuxedo. Okay, both are Indies. And I've had many other cats living with me at different times in my life or with my parents or friends. And I've noticed that it's always the ginger or the white ginger cats that tend to have a lot of dirt in their ears. And the black cats, the tuxedos, they're always clean, no matter what. Whether the spot on is given or not, they're always so clean. And it's always the gingers and the whites that get all this gunk in their ears. Is there some connection?
Not that I know of, but you are right. It's quite spooky, but it is true. You are right. It does happen. But why it happens, yeah, that's beyond my this thing of expertise. I have no idea why.
But you've noticed this across your grooming
Yes,
experience.
I have, yes. I
It's
think
very
maybe, I
satisfying
don't
to remove it,
know.
though.
That is, yeah, we call it chutney.
Oh, it's one of my most pleasurable experiences of the week to clean my cat's ears. I'm so sorry, guys, to say this out loud, but it's
Every time I see her, she's cleaning the ears with
So
the
good.
earbud, and she's like, "This is satisfying." And the best part is the cat is now got trained and quietly is just
Yeah,
She
you
loves
see, so
it.
she knows that, you're going to be gentle. She knows that once you're done, she's going to feel better. She's going to allow you to do it.
I don't
You
know
know?
if they feel better.
I'm
I
pretty
feel
sure they
better.
do. I'm pretty sure they do feel better. I mean, you think about it yourself, right? If your ears are dirty, they'll be itchy and,
Yeah.
you'll feel uncomfortable. But the minute you've cleaned your ears, you'll feel a little bit better, right? So I'm pretty
I
sure they feel
definitely
better.
never want to have that kind of an archaeological excavation in my ear because it's a lot. By the way, guys, if any of you have any questions, you can write them in the chat and we'll ask them to Andrea. You think we should move on to the dog section, Darshan? Because we've asked so many questions about cats.
Yeah, we can. Actually, adding on to the part of the nails for the dogs, and also if you could add on to some home kit essentials for dogs and also cat, actually, what all should be done when you're saying grooming has to be done?
Okay. So for dogs, actually, I don't recommend that you cut their nails at home unless you are confident and know what you're doing. Okay. For cats, it is actually easier to do because it's that little, a sharp little point of a needle that you need to cut off. And that's all you need to do, right? So you
Right.
cannot cut too far back unless you're like really not listening to what I'm saying. Okay. With dogs, what happens is you do need to cut pretty close to the quick. The quick is that vein, right? So if you overcut, then it can bleed. So if you want to learn how to cut your dog's nails, you can ask your groomer, you can ask your vet, right? Some dog trainers might also be able to help you with that. Okay, so it would be better if you ask a professional, ideally a groomer, who will help you, help teach you how to do it. If you do not know how to do it, and if you are not confident, and your dog's nails are not too long, you can actually use a nail grinder, which is safer. Okay. You get a lot of these nail grinders now on Amazon, which are like some 1,500, 2,000 bucks or something. And they are relatively safe. But again, as with any instrument, right, you have to be careful when you're using it, because if you have a long haired dog, especially, because the grinder, the bit rotates, right? So it can kind of get tangled in the hair.
Okay.
So you have to be careful when you're doing that. It actually has like a little cap over it to prevent that from happening.
Okay.
So again, if you're not confident and you don't, you don't really know how to do it, you can ask a professional for help. In fact, I think even on Amazon and stuff like that, you probably have some videos of how to use the product. So check that out and then try to use it. And if your dog is, is being very iffy about it, then I would say avoid doing it, right? So avoid doing the nails unless and until you're confident doing it, right? There are some situations where you have to. In those cases, I recommend you learn, okay? So apart from this thing, from nails, of course, the hair needs to be taken care of. With a long-haired dog, you obviously need to brush. You need to brush your dog regularly, right? Not just in the car before coming to the groomer just to tell her that the dog is not matted. Because we all know that that happens. It's like the running groomer joke that, okay, she just brushed the dog in the car and came in and, oh, there's no mats at all. Like, oh, I just brushed my dog, right? If you just brush your dog 5 minutes before grooming, that doesn't count. right? Then don't brush it. Then we'll brush it, right? So don't just brush because you think you're coming to Andrea and Andrea's going to be, oh my God, you didn't brush your dog, because I'll still know. So why waste your time? So if you have a long-haired dog, I recommend brushing it regularly and brushing it from a young age before the hair is long enough to get tangled. And by this, I mean Shih Tzus, Lhasas, some Cocker Spaniels, any Maltese, Yorkshire Terriers. All of these dogs, we all know that the hair is going to grow pretty long, right? And most of the time, pet owners will bring the dog to the groomer for the first time at about 6, 7 months of age. Okay, by that time, there's too much hair on the dog, right? And because there's too much hair on the dog, the owner doesn't want to brush because, the dog is starting to bite the owner because they're brushing, and they're not brushing correctly, first of all, okay? So, and they're brushing too late. Had they been brushing that dog when there were no tangles and just making it like a bonding ritual for them, right? The dog would be very, very comfortable, even when the hair had grown longer. And it would be easier for the owner as well to maintain, right? So because what happens is with puppies, the coat changes at about 6, 7 months of age. Coat changes in the sense it gets thicker. Okay. So when they're puppies, the hair, suppose it grows this much, right? Now, as they get older, there's new hair coming in. So this hair is about this long, right? So you know how it's going to be easier for that to get tangled. And at this age, if you do not brush your dog regularly, you are 100% going to get tangles and knots. Like 100%. I can guarantee it. If
does this apply to cats also?
This does apply to cats as well. Yes. I would recommend even for cats to brush them early on before there are any knots and tangles.
And what is the right way to brush? You said there's a right way and a wrong way.
There is definitely a right way and a wrong way. The wrong way is to, you know what a slicker brush is? Does everybody know what a slicker brush is?
With the metallic
yeah, with those wires, right? So now if you take a slicker brush and you brush yourself with it, okay, you'll see that you get scratched, right? Now in cats and dogs, they have a lot of hair on their body, which means that their skin is thinner and more fragile. With cats, it's like even more fragile, right? Dogs have fragile skin, cats have even more fragile skin. Their skin is actually like velvet. So if they get cut or scratched or anything, it can get really bad. Okay. So you can actually like rip open a cat with a slicker brush if you don't use it right. Yeah. It's sad but true. Right.
But why
use
a slicker brush?
Because that's the brush that will get out the tangles. Okay.
And
so
not
you do
the
get
other one with the regular.
The soft bristles will not do anything. The soft bristles will do nothing. Okay. So you can either use a slicker brush or you can use a pin brush. The pin brushes with the little paint balls at the end, the little paint blobs at the end. So you can use those, or even sticker brushes you get with those paint blobs, right? But these soft paint blobby brushes don't necessarily guarantee soft brushing. That soft brushing has to come from the person who is doing the brushing. Whenever you are brushing a cat or a dog or yourself, right, you start from the ends and you go to the roots. You never start from the roots and you rip to the ends. No. Right? So that is actually basic common sense. But when we're doing it for us, we use it because when we do it, then we're like, oh shit, it pulled, let me start from the bottom. But
I was just wondering because I don't do that. And I'm like, have I been doing grooming wrong on myself my whole life?
Because you have silky hair, right? But if you have a little bit of volume or curly hair.
I have curly hair, and if I start from here, it is quite a tricky thing.
Right? So you would start from the bottom. If your hair is like, you have short hair, right? And you have silky hair. So it doesn't tangle that easily, correct? But if you had longer hair, even with silky hair, and you had bedhead, right? And you had like rubbed your head all over and you had a ponytail which, started here and ended up here in the morning, right? And you would need to comb your hair. You're not going to start from your roots. You're going to start from the ends. Anybody who has long hair knows that, right? Especially women.
Clearly, women always had short hair.
Yeah.
Even with pets, we need to brush from the bottom and go to the top, right? So the tangles will be a lot easier. It's very simple, basic logic is when you tie a rope or you tie, multiple knots in a rope. You don't open from the top. You'll open from the bottom to detangle that, right? So that's basic common sense. So when you are detangling, you always start from the bottom. You never ever start from the top, right? So whenever you're brushing, whenever you're combing, you start from the bottom. And then whenever you're using a slicker brush, you have to make sure that you're not scratching the skin every time you brush. So there is actually a technique which, is a little bit longish to show you guys. I don't know if I have a slicker here. Do I have a slicker? Oh, I do have a slicker. Okay. So I have a little slicker brush here, right? So there's a technique. So whenever you're holding a slicker brush, you need to keep it flat. All right. So you notice even when I'm doing it on my fingers, right? I start at the ends. I never start from here to show somebody how to do it. I start from the ends and I go towards the roots, right? So for me, the root of my hand is somewhere around here and these are the ends. So I'm going, that's how I would brush. And I would keep my brush flat and I would be very soft-handed. So I'm not going to hold my brush like this and go. That's not what I'm doing. You see, when I'm brushing, I'm very, very light and very, very soft. I'm not hurting myself at all, right? So you have to learn how to use it. So again, you can go to a professional near you and ask them to teach you, because I feel most groomers will be happy to teach you, because nobody really likes to do dematting. Nobody, because it's stressful for the groomer, it's stressful for the pet, right? And it's very, very time consuming and expensive for the pet owner. Right? Because if you're going to take a matted pet to a groomer, the groomer is going to charge you extra money for that dematting. So better than that, they would rather that you do it at home. That saves them time, saves them energy, and the experience for the pet is better, right? So the pet is happier. Because the pet is happier, the groomer is also happier. Because the pet and the groomer are happier, the owner is also happier. So it's
and
just
it would
a happy
take 5
situation.
minutes every day instead of 1 hour.
Exactly. Yes.
Once in a month,
Yeah, exactly. And it takes more than 1 hour sometimes. Some pets are like really badly matted, like really pelted. And then you have to shave off, Then you have another plethora of problems that you have to deal with when you have to shave off the pet, right?
Plus
Because
you can
then
get infections and things under the
Correct.
matting, and it's just
Absolutely. So under mats and stuff like that, you can actually have parasite infestations and stuff, because you can't see, you can't get to it. So you can't remove it. And by the time you get there, there's like this whole colony of ticks or fleas or something that's created a home there and has, been biting, and there are these red patches. And so it's just bad and uncomfortable. And if you actually love animals, which is why I would think that people want to have them in their homes and spend time with them, right? Then why would you leave your pet to get into that kind of a situation? I understand, because sometimes what happens, right, is that life gets in the way. People have problems or some. So these kind of situations, yes, you understand. But on a regular basis, this is not what happens, right? You don't have like somebody sick in the house and you really cannot pay attention to your pet, or, you haven't just had a child and you were in the hospital for 2 weeks, or like these kind of incidents don't happen all the time. So in a one-off case, yes, we accept, okay, maybe the dog is matted, maybe there were some issues in the house, maybe something happened, which is why the dog is matted. But when a dog comes back to us matted again and again and again and again, that's pure negligence. That means that the pet owner does not really love their pet. It's very simple. They can say otherwise, but, actions speak louder. So.
Well, coming to that, what you pointed out in terms of shaving, now that summers are coming in, I would like to know, I don't know if cats get shaved, but especially dogs, I see that a lot of them...
Bald dogs.
Yeah, they'll just shave them off. So how much to shave and what is the layer? And I don't know if cats also get shaved.
The thing with cats getting shaved, yeah, they do get shaved. Okay. We obviously don't recommend shaving a short-coated cat, like an Indie or one of these exotic short hairs or something like that. We don't recommend shaving those. But some Persians and all that, we don't shave, we trim the hair, right? No. Shaving would mean like a clean shave, right? We don't show skin. So we will cut the hair just enough for it to be maintained in a good length where there's enough protection and the brushing is easy, right? And if we were to shave it completely bald, then the cat might have some insecurity issues, or they might hurt themselves, because the hair actually causes protection, right? I mean, it gives you protection, right? So it's
so
the
my
same
parents have a Persian, and once they just sort of trimmed way too much. And I think the cat became half his size, and he gained speed. For the first 2 days, he was very disoriented and confused. But later on, he became like a missile. He would just run around here and there because he felt that light, and it was summer. But the first 2 days were very difficult for him to kind of orient himself without all that weight. And I
Right.
remember that this groomer, and I told my parents never to do that ever again, he trimmed the whiskers also. And that is such a big
Oh.
no-no, right?
Yeah, it is because cats are kind of quite dependent on their whiskers for getting through tiny spaces and stuff, and it helps them with their orientation. So because they trim the whiskers, that's why he must have been walking around like a drunk man, you know. So that's a common thing to happen, though it doesn't happen to every cat, but it does happen to some. If they cut off the whiskers, then they go all like Kesh to Mukherjee kind of thing. So yeah. So for cats, we don't trim very, very short. We can trim pretty short, but not very short, not enough to be able to see the skin. Okay. With dogs, again, we like to leave about an inch or so of hair on the body, minimum, because at least that will give, you know, the protection that the dog needs, right? Because with cats, at least they don't have to get out into the sun. So a little bit short of a cat's is okay. But for dogs, at least that 1 inch we like to keep because it's going to go out and walk in the sun. So they do get sunburnt as well, right? And of course, they are more prone to get into fights, or you know, they're more prone to pick up parasites as compared to a house cat that is inside the house and doesn't really go out much. I'm not talking about the inside outside kind of cats. That's different. You know, those I will not recommend that you shave at all, right? Because they need their fur, because when they get into fights and stuff like that, also that protects. So we don't want to do that, right? With dogs, first of all, they do not feel hot on their body because of the hair. Okay. It's like us, you know, because it's hot and it's, you know, the sun is really, really hot. We take off all our clothes and we stand in the sun. Are we going to do that? No. Right? We'll want to take an umbrella, or we'll want to wear like a light, whatever, coat or something like that, right? Like, you know, like how in Dubai and stuff like that, in the UAE and stuff, they wear those big long outfits, right? I have forgotten what it's called, right? But that's to protect them.
Right.
They're not going to take off all their clothes and stand in the desert heat. That's going to that's going to harm them, no? So
True.
even for pets, it's the same thing. You cannot take off all their hair, and no, they do not feel hot from their body. They do not sweat from their body. They sweat from their paws, and they sweat via panting. So they cool their body like that. Also,
Right.
they have something in their skin underneath the hair, some muscles. It's called erector pili muscles. They have those that will help them, you know, make the hair stand or sleep onto the skin depending on the condition, right? So when the dog goes out for a walk, it's hot, you'll notice the hair is fluffier. When the dog comes back and it's sleeping in the AC, you'll notice the hair is closer to the skin. Right? Because that is the dog's natural way of regulating its body temperature. When you remove that, it's like, you know, when you're sleeping in the AC, initially when you're feeling hot, it's okay. But after you start feeling cold, you'll pull up the cover and, you know, get under the cover. So you have that option. The dog does not have that option. The hair is that option for the dog. So the dog will actually, you know, fluff up its hair a little more to get some air circulation going on the skin. And when it doesn't need it, it's going to, you know, like sort of let it lie back down. So removing that hair actually is not a good idea.
So 1 inch hair length is what you're suggesting should
At
be
least.
minimum.
Yes.
And you don't have to actually do that also. If
No,
not,
you don't.
if
don't
you
have to
want
do
to,
that.
then it's 1 inch what needs to be done.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting to the last part, and what is the teeth hygiene for cats and dogs?
Before that, Dash should just check the question. Since she was on shaving dogs, someone has asked, can we shave a Labrador Retriever?
Okay,
And
the
then
short
Darshan.
answer is no. You do not need to. So,
I like the answer. No, you don't need to.
No, because it's a short-haired dog, and like I just explained, right? If you're going to remove the hair, it cannot regulate its body temperature. So you're actually going to make the dog feel hotter by taking off the hair.
True.
So if your objective and your reason to shave that dog is to make it feel cooler, then you're doing the exact opposite. So yes, that's a complete no.
Okay. So I think heading to the last part in the teeth hygiene, what could be done?
Okay, so I am not a fan of brushing teeth for the simple reason that the pet is going to be, is hopefully going to be with us a minimum of 14 years, right? Now, if you come to think of it, 14 years every day, are you going to brush that dog's teeth or that cat's teeth? Are you gonna? No, right? So rather than that, you should give them toys or something that they can chew on, which actually will help them remove that plaque and that tartar from their teeth. So there are other options available. You don't really need a toothbrush and toothpaste to do it. You can if it makes you feel good, but doing it, every time it comes to the groomer, maybe once a week or once a month, it's like you brushing your teeth once a week or once a month, you know. If you can chew, like in the old days when there were no toothbrushes and all that, people used to chew on datuns, right?
Yeah.
On these sticks, which would actually clean their teeth. They wouldn't go like this and clean their teeth, right? So the animals can actually already do that. We have toys and things like that that they can chew on, which will help them remove this thing. So their food will help them remove. The toys will help them remove. There are sticks and stones and stuff that they chew on. Not stones, but sticks and stuff that they chew on that help them remove their plaque. So they don't really need to brush their teeth. You also get certain liquids and stuff like that that you can that you can mix with the water that helps them regulate their, the mouth pH balance and helps them regulate their digestive system. So all those kind of things are available in the market without actually picking up a toothbrush and toothpaste. And of course, you do not use human toothpaste for them.
Right.
So I hope everybody is aware of that. Do not
Yeah.
use Colgate on your pet. It is not meant for them.
True. For all those people who do not know, Andrea runs a space in Bombay, Pittsburgh, Mumbai. She also is a trainer, so she does teach grooming. Do you do some courses for pet parents as well?
I actually do. I do a basic bathing, drying, hygiene, like the nails, the ears, the stuff that I spoke about, the brushing, the bathing, brushing, drying, nails and ears, and trimming of the paws and
this is only
the
physically
hygiene.
or can it be done online as well?
It's actually easier, offline. But yes, we can do it online as well. But yeah, what I normally do is that when I'm teaching somebody, I literally hold their hand and teach them. If they're not doing it, if they're not being able to do it right. And especially when it comes to a slicker brush, I like to show it to them on their hand so they know what I'm talking about. Because when I do it on their hand and when they do it on their hand, it's very different. So they need to understand the kind of pressure you put, the action that the way you move the brush, all of those kind of things. So yeah, offline I prefer for pet parents, especially because for them, I can teach them all of this in like maybe 1 day, 2 days, a week, and it'll be good enough for them to take care of their pets at home. I don't teach haircuts and stuff like that to pet parents. For pet parents, if somebody wants to learn that, then of course they do a groomer course. Because some pet parents are actually quite good at, they're quite talented when it comes to haircuts and things like that, right? And they don't really want to take grooming up as a career. Like on a genuine note, no pun intended. So, they don't want to take up grooming as a career, but they do want to know enough to be able to groom their own pet. So then, yes, for that, I would need to do like a proper grooming course for them. I won't probably, take in all the salon stuff that we need to know in a salon, but whatever they need to know at home to groom their pet, that I can teach them. But when it comes to a regular pet parent workshop, I would teach them bathing, drying, cutting nails, cleaning the ears, and trimming the hygiene. Meaning like, under the paws, the butt, all of those kind of things. So that's about it, because that's all that you really need. And then you can just go to a professional and get the other stuff done.
Right. So people watching online on Instagram, you guys can check her out on Pittsburgh, Mumbai. You can check Vinda and her company, Curious Cat Company. She has, I think, posted on Instagram as well about the fundraiser. So you guys could check that out. Also, Andrea runs an association of
Pet
Pet
groomers
India. And yeah, it's one of its kind where she is the person who's trying to create some regulations, I should say, in that
kind
whole
of awareness and support and try and make the community and the industry a little bit safer for pets and for professionals, for both the thing. And of course,
Both the parties, yeah.
automatically the pet parents also benefit from that, by actually, if you have a groomer that is part of the association and that is taking the time to attend workshops, attend seminars, learn, upgrade their skills, update their knowledge, right? Then you know that your pet is in safe hands. So mostly PPGI members, we do offer a lot of these opportunities to learn and grow. So most of our members do take advantage of them, and then we have competitions and things like that, so they can display their skills, and so it's a good this thing. It's a good place to be, and it hopefully will help regulate the industry in a way that it is safe and beneficial for everybody involved. Yeah,
that's true. And thanks, Andrea. You're like always one message or a call away, and you're like, yeah, Darshan, let's do this. Why not? I never feel that, oh my God, she's at that level and she wouldn't pick my call or she wouldn't message.
Oh,
And
why would I do that?
Let's do this. Why not? Let's make the awareness campaigns around it. So yep, thank you so much, both the girls. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
It was amazing. I learned so much. We were live on Instagram, and soon I'll make the video available to both of you as well. Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Andrea.
much. Thank you. Nice talking to both of you girls. And thank you for the
Likewise.
opportunity of sharing my point of view.
Of course.
I learned so much.
I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.